Hello, hello. Welcome all to our movement yoga quickie. So, welcome to the new year. We took a little bit of a break, just had some travel and some holiday and all that fun stuff. Now we're sort of back to business. We'll do a short class today. We might play with the time going forward in the new year. We might do some longer classes. But anyway, today it's a 20-minute shorty focusing on joint work. So, should be super fun, super easy if you're, just stuff you can do anywhere. You can do it in front of a TV, you can do it in a chair.
Waiting in line.
Waiting in line. There you go. All right. When you're ready, Kathy, come on
I'm
up.
ready.
Come on up.
Yeah, okay, there's one more little last time for 2020 to later in 2023.
All right. Christmas tree comes on. It's I think it's Orthodox Christmas.
That's right.
We've got the 12 days of Christmas. We have so
also-
much fun putting up our tree and our lights. We're going to wait just a little bit longer.
Also 20 minutes, we're going to go mat-free today. We're going to have...
Mat-free, absolutely. I'll do a lot of standing stuff. All right, so coming to the top of your space, bringing hands on hips, let's march it side to side. Yeah, big march, little march, let it be your march, just waking up those legs. And now grounded down through 2 feet as we rock it from side to side. Now finding equal weight in both feet as we find our center. From here, rocking it front to back as we lift the heels and lift the toes. Notice how your low belly kicks in to keep your balance. I invite you to put your mind in that place. Now grounded through the toes, grounded through the heels as we rock it front to back. And then finding your center. From here, either keeping your feet just as they are, or challenging your balance as you narrow your stance. And if you do narrow your stance, you get a little bit of a Christmas tree blanket between your feet, just so you know. I don't want you to slip.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that. It's like a marker.
It's a marker. Let's bring hands to heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger.
Yeah.
There you go. Long through all sides of the neck with a soft tuck of the chin. I'll invite you to soften your eyes. If you're comfortable with closing your eyes, you can do that also. And just watching as your breath flows in. And as your breath flows out. From this place, lifting the chin tall through the crown as we roll our hands over and bring our hands by our hip, or onto our hips. So step the right foot back, left foot front. Let's ground down through the balls of the left toes. We're going to circle the ankle, the knee, and the hip. Inviting in more flow. And no rush at all. We'll take those circles the other way. Now grounding down through that heel as we step the foot in. We'll step the other foot out as we ground down through that set of toes. And then circling the ankle, the knee, and the hip. So it's actually, the foot's going to be in front.
Oh, I did the other way.
Okay, sorry. And that's actually a different exercise. So that's an excellent exercise. And let's do a little pitter-patter here. I'll tell you what we mean in a sec. Taking those circles the other way. And grounded down through that heel, we'll step that foot in. It's a pitter-patter here, so we're going to do your exercise too. Let's work the same side here, so let's step that left foot or that right foot back. We'll ground down through the tops of the toes, and then circling the ankle, the knee, and the hip. And then taking those circles the other way. Thank you for the reminder on this other exercise, which is an excellent exercise too for the ankle, the knee, and the hip. Now we'll step that foot front. Now you have a choice at home. If you did Kathy's way on that left foot, you'll do it my way on the left foot. If you did my way, you'll do Kathy's way. So I'm going to suggest you step the foot front, Kathy, and do it my way. I'll step my foot back and do it your way as we circle our ankle, our knee, and our hip. It's that phrase, my way or the highway. And then taking those circles the other way.
That's one for marital harmony.
That is not one for marital harmony.
I know.
And then however you chose to work the exercise, we'll step the foot in as we ground down through 2 feet. From here, let's bring the feet right together, connecting the knees as close as it's comfortable, and we'll just circle our knees. Inviting in more flow. Welcome, Jan. Welcome, David. And then taking those circles the other way. And then coming back to center, let's straighten our legs. Let's step our feet hip width apart. We'll bring our hands to the back of our hips, the fingers face down. So you want to stand up nice and straight. Knees a little bit soft, keeping equal weight in both feet. We're going to start to circle those hips. So keep it small. Notice how keeping the circle small connects you to your center. 3 fingers below the navel. From a small circle, we're going to start to shift the weight between the feet. And we'll make those circles bigger. Stretching out our low back, stretching out our hips. Inviting in more flow. From a bigger circle, we're going to start to dial it in as we start to circle back towards center. Like a bee circling around a flower. And finding your center. Starting small, we'll take those circles the other way. Keep it small, equal weight in both feet. Very precise here. And then less precise as you start to shift the weight between the feet. Starting to dial it back in, circling the center, moving in towards that center, like a bee circling in towards a flower. And then finding your center. Let's pretend we have an extra set of hands, keeping the hips relatively still, as we find a hand on each shoulder, cross-shoulder hug. Starting small, circling the shoulders, keeping the hips and ribs still. Keeping the hips still, but now involving the ribs as that circle gets bigger. Depending on your balance this morning, maybe adding a little swing of the head, a sway of the neck. Make sure it feels good. From a bigger circle, we're going to start to dial it back in, circling our center. And then back to center. Starting a small shoulder circle the other way. Hips and ribs stay just as they are. And now keeping the hips still, but letting the ribs play. And depending on your balance, depending on how you feel, letting the neck participate, letting the head play. Make sure it feels good, whatever you choose to do. It's all about that mind-body connection. It doesn't have to be a soulless connection. It could be a fun, playful connection. From a bigger circle, we can start to circle it back in. And then finding your center as you bring your hands by your side. From here, left hand down by left hip. Now I know Facebook stretches things around. Make sure you do both sides. Right hand high to the sky. Equal weight in both feet. We're going to take a little side bend to the left. Coming back through center, right hand by right hip, left hand high. We'll take a side bend to the right. Equal weight in both feet. And then back and forth between the two sides. And now, starting to shift the weight between the feet. And now starting to jut your hip out. So really feeling the stretch there. Only going so far as feels right and good for you. And then the next time you're on one side or the other, want you to hold that stretch, shifting weight into far foot, jutting that hip out. I want you to ripple those top fingers and just let your head hang. Now coming back through center, we'll find our second side and holding, shifting weight into that far foot, jutting that hip out, rippling the fingers as you let your head hang. And then coming back to center. Arms high in the air like you either do or don't care. Thumb and forefinger of the right hand catch the left wrist. We're going to traction that left shoulder. And then starting to circle the shoulders to the right as we circle the hips to the left. Starting small. And then letting it get bigger. Adding whatever parts of your body you'd like. Swing of the head, sway of the neck, shifting the weight between the feet. Make sure it feels good. And then starting to dial it back in, like a bee circling around the flower. And finding your center. Thumb and forefinger of the left hand catch the right wrist. We can traction that right shoulder. And then circling the shoulders to the left as the hips go to the right. Start small. And when you're confident of your balance, we can let that motion get bigger. Again, reveling in that mind-body connection. Waking up your feeling body. From a bigger circle, we'll start to dial it in. And then finding your center, hands by your side. Let's come out of the shoulders a little bit. One of my favorite exercises. We're going to inhale the shoulders up towards the ears. On the exhale, just let them drop. And let's do that a few times. Up and drop. Couple more here. Last one. And then keeping that shoulders heavy, hands find the hips. I'll ask you to sideways, Kathy, here. Right foot front, left foot back. We're moving towards a warrior one stance. Doesn't have to be a long warrior one, it could be a short one. Yeah, looks a little slippery. You might shorten it up a little bit. Yeah, we're going to do some shoulder work and I want you to be comfortable in the shape. You okay? You're not going to slip? Mm-hmm. Let's bring thumbs onto our shoulders, rippling our fingers. Now rolling one shoulder front and then the other. If you'd like, you can keep those fingers rippling. Easier said than done. And then taking those shoulder rolls the other way. And now steering those shoulders front and center and letting them relax onto our ribs. From here, finding a clasp of the fingers behind the back of the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side. Keeping that width as we find a tray in front, the palms face up. Straightening the front leg without locking the knee as we draw energy into our center of balance. And then circling the hands around. And let's do that 8 times. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale. And exhaling with your breath. Two more here. And last one, breathing in. Breathing out and holding the shape. The elbows move back, the hands can lift. And we'll let it ripple those fingers as we keep our hands up. Now hands find the hips as we spin the back heel up. And take a step in. I'll allow you to angle the right toes out just a little bit. That's your standing leg. Opening up that hip. And we're going to try to bring that foot in front. Making sure you're in the frame. We'll play with our flamingo as we tap that big toe down, finding your balance. And then lifting that toe and yum out. You can always bring that big toe back down. As we balance on one foot. That toe comes down as we find our balance. We'll run down through the heel. And then just marching it side to side again. waking up your feet, keeping your legs active. And then ground it down through 2 feet as we rock it from side to side. Now equal weight in both feet as we find our center. Again, rocking it front to back as we lift the heels and lift the toes. Again, connecting with our center of balance. Bring your mind in that place. 3 fingers below the navel. And then grounded through the toes, grounded through the heels as we rock it front to back. And finding your center. From here, let's step that other foot back. So we're going to step our right foot back as we come towards a warrior 1. It's going to be a short warrior 1. I don't want anyone to slip here. Lining up our heels. Steering hips front. Thumbs find the shoulders. Letting those fingers relax as we ripple those fingers. Keeping those fingers rippling as we roll one shoulder front and then the other. And then taking those asymmetrical shoulder rolls the other way. Now steering heart front and center and letting those shoulders relax onto our ribs. Walking the fingers one over for that unfamiliar clasp. Pressing the head hard into the hands, open heart, open throat. Elbows wide to the side. Breathing into that space. Keeping heart and throat spacious as we find that tray in front. From here, gathering energy into our center as we straighten that front leg without locking the knee. And then finding your cactus arms. 8 times with the breath. And if you want to keep those fingers rippling, go for it. Last 2. And last one. I'll allow you to hold warrior 1 arms with warrior 1 legs with cactus arms. When the elbows move back, the hands come with, rippling those fingers, just enjoying the stretch. Maybe adding a little swing of the wrists. Maybe adding some elbows, some shoulder. Just make sure it feels good. And then hands find the hips as we spin that back heel up, kicking a step in. I'll invite you to angle the left toes out. That's your standing leg. Just open up that hip a little bit. Yeah, so you can turn those toes out just a tad. So you're pointing towards the Christmas tree. And now we're going to step that right big toe down, just finding our balance. In any amount, we're going to lift that toe off the floor as we find our flamingo.
Right, that's right.
So you're balancing on your left foot. Having said that, I know Facebook switches things around. Make sure you do both sides. Noticing any differences between the sides. Part of our yoga is that exploration. How our bodies work. How are they working right here, right now? Tapping that toe down, finding your balance, grounding down through the feet. And again, let's just march it side to side. Can you do a Russian dance for us? Was it the dance of the Russian soldiers? Was it the Tchaikovsky Nutcracker?
I think so.
Yeah. Now grounded down through both feet as we rock it from side to side. Equal weight in both feet as you find your center. Rocking it front to back as we lift heels and lift toes, connecting with our low belly, our center of balance. And then grounded through the toes, grounded through the heels as we rock it front to back. And then finding your center. At this point, I'll invite you to challenge your balance as you narrow your stance. Tight as you go, to be big toes touch. Having said that, feel free to work a little bit wider. Let's bring hands back to our heart. From here, a soft tuck of the chin as we find a lotus flower. Heels of the hands stay connected. Little finger and thumb stay connected. The other fingers separate as we find our lotus. So you want to bring the thumbs together. There it is, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, facing the camera. Soft tuck of the chin as we admire our lotus. From here, I'll invite you to lift the lotus from heart up to sky. Either looking down off to the side or up to the sky. From here, I'll invite you to roll your hands over as we stretch out our wrists. bringing our hands by our side. From here, I'll invite you to let's do 3 ancillary breaths first. Big breath into your lungs, the fingers widen, the hands move up. On the exhale, hands come in, the fingers soften. 2 more times. Maybe those arms come up a little bit higher. Exhaling, hands by your side, the hands soften. 1 more time, breathing in. And breathing out. Now from this place, I'll invite you to bring hands to heart. A soft bow of the head. Namaste.
Namaste.
Rolling the hands over, hands by your side. Thank you all so much for
Thank
practicing
you.
With our quickie, all standing poses, stuff you can do, even in a chair, really. Not much of it. So,
We're waiting on the Muni.
yeah, exactly. All right, we'll see you all later.
All right,
Namaste.
Happy
Have a
New
nice
Year.
day. Thank you
Happy
all
New
for
Year.
tuning in.
Thank you. We love you.